Loading Innovation Markets platform.
Hello innovators, and welcome back to another cryptocurrency outlook. I hope you guys are doing well. Hope everyone's had a good weekend. Hope everyone's having a good 2022 so far. It's been a while since we've done a video. Feels good to be back. I am thinking to start doing a lot more videos, but shorter in duration. This way I can deliver you guys a lot more content. I've started doing the same thing with my members, and to be honest with you, one of the reasons why we haven't really done a video in a while is because the market has been doing absolutely nothing pretty much since 2022 started. We have been range bound. There's been very little purpose in making new investments or even taking profit because the market has not broken any form of real structure. If we go to December or even January 2022 and just map out a little range over here, the same can be said for almost every single other pair. Give or take a few altcoins, let's just say like Luna, that may have gone a bit above and beyond, which have still ended up rejecting perfectly from the $120 zone we gave to the members. This is in a nutshell what the market's been doing this year. So I want to make this video to, number one, try and map out a bit of an understanding on what could very likely be happening next. We've been pretty much pinpoint accurate in terms of what's going to happen next. So obviously at this point in time, we need to prepare for the worst case scenario. And the title of the video is obviously, do you believe us now? Because I'm hoping, and one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is again, to give you guys a bit of a wake up call on the possibilities that something quite drastic could be happening very soon. So looking at the XRP monthly time frame, first and foremost, this is absolutely critical to understand, guys. In 8 hours and 46 minutes, the monthly candles are closing for April. XRP coming back down to that level of support at 60 cents. BTC currently lingering just above the $38,000 region where we rocketed off from last time. And when I say rocketed off from, absolutely tiny move. Ethereum, same situation, actually looking a lot worse than some of the others, just below the $3,000 level of support. So overall, if we were just to quickly look at these pairs and understand what's really going on since the year has technically started, we have made very little movement, and I'm going to be breaking this down further in a moment. Same as BTC, pretty much a beautiful clean range. January 2022, we are within a square. We are moving in consolidation, and the market is going through a very uncertain period following a significant sell-off to finalize 2021. Now, the most important thing to look at first of all is not just the monthly closures, but what they will mean and represent and indicate if they close like this in 8 hours and 45 minutes. Now, what do you guys see here? Because what I see is a significant bull run that got wiped out. I saw a secondary attempt to go higher, which failed. We did liquidate the highs, but we didn't actually see candle closures above. So that tells me from the offset, we have taken out the high, and we've now plummeted down again. Two opportunities that I told you guys about where profit taking should be considered, because now we're back down following a secondary push and almighty collapse. We hit a very critical level around here. And the best way to illustrate this is when the BTC monthlies rocketed and the first all-time high was created at 60K, a huge candle slammed all the way down to around $47,000. We pulled all the way back up. We then obliterated this level to create what is now known as the $30,000, allegedly generational lows, according to many of the influencers and crypto Twitter. Now, what happened upon reversing from this level is the market pushed back up again, reaching this exact region, finding indecision and breaking through, sucking in a new wave of buyers who are now unfortunately trapped in the market as it reversed back to the same level again. The difference is this time we hit this level almost as if we were about to reject and continue the trend. The difference here is now, after those bears took control of the price action, and again, price spiked precisely to almost $69,000 and reversed down. Premeditated moves at its finest. It was a clear trap. Now we look at what's going on here. After breaking down again, we can clearly see buyers fail to maintain the momentum of this meteoric bull run. So upon the failure of this level maintaining, we snapped down lower back into this territory again, where as we can see, three massive, well not massive, but the middle one was relatively strong, 3 bearish monthly candles in a row. Now, considering people were claiming we are still in a bull run, The price action does not indicate this, and this is what I've been trying to warn from the offset. And I hate to say I told you so, but it is what is currently happening. And one of the reasons why we've obviously called the video what it's been named is because for months on end now, we have been trying to tell you guys why we've been taking profit, why you should be careful, but unfortunately it's just continuously met with screams of FUD. You don't know what's going on. And a good example is in even the last video, or one of the last videos, where we took some profit off XRP at, as you can see here, 50k was taken off at $1 and another 50k taken off at 89 cents. Now, what was the reason behind this? Because we had a very, very strong feeling that this single move higher was not going to sustain and was simply a retest before the overall trend continues. And I'll break that down further in a minute as well. But what I was getting to over here is once we broke down, considering we have a very significant bearish pressure, and you can see the same here, we sold off from this level, crashed all the way down. The buyers got out, those whales, those institutions, they got out while sucking everyone into buying. Those buys were filling the institutional and whale sells to plummet price lower. Because for obviously, if someone is selling at this price, there must be people on the opposing end willing to pay the price to buy those coins off them, as an example. So whilst people are selling here to cause that significant sell-off, on the opposing side, that many people bought at these prices that the price then plummeted. And of course, so many institutions and whales sold at these prices. For that price to kind of crash that much, there must have been a lot of sellers on the same side as well. Now, understanding that once the bulls kind of saw confirmation a big sell-off is occurring, a frequent occurrence in the market is for price to drive back up, so the people that didn't sell around these levels can drive price up to then sell again at a second opportunity. Now we've taken out those highs, it's very likely, as we've now dragged down, a continuation is lingering. Now we understand after crashing below this level, we had 2 months of bullish candles, but I wouldn't call them strong bullish candles. The difference here is after this significant crash, going down to around $33,000, we drove up, then got stopped, pulled down a little bit. We had another attempt higher, but failed again. And then the following month, after that buying pressure kind of expired, the bears took control again and they're bringing price back down. And now what we can see is an entire month or past 2 months of gains have been eradicated. And when you start to zoom in or even just fixate this level more specifically, we can actually get a clearer understanding of what's going on here. Price has broken down, broken through support, and simply retesting its resistance. Now the problem here is it's creating indecision within the market because the buying pressure is being massively outweighed by much stronger selling pressure. And the big problem that lies here now is what does the market do next? Because theoretically speaking over here, there was a bit of indecision, but we didn't really engulf the candles like this. And the problem here is now, with such a big bearish closure potentially coming into play on the monthly, and we're going to see how that ends up in 8 hours or so, this could then be a major catalyst for something we've seen before, where the price starts to break down. Now something that's very, very interesting to me is number one, we have this major trend line here, which number one does pretty much point to the lows just about being taken out. So there's a clear short-term target in play, and this is something we obviously cannot disregard. The secondary problem here is the weekly time frame right now. Whilst it is lingering around these levels, we do not know how this is going to close. I see a head, a shoulder, a head and a shoulder lingering within this region. I see support broken and retested. Now something I posted on my personal Instagram, which I'm sure a lot of you may have seen as well, was I actually told you guys, and we actually covered this in the last video as well. I posted pretty much a chart with an arrow starting from the 48k region saying FUD. That was 8 weeks ago. And that was as we was lingering on the $48,000 level, because I had a very good feeling price was going to breach into that 48k region. If we go to the daily, at the time, it was these 3 wicks that you see, or these 3 rejections that are shown on my chart over here around that 44k region. And then we pushed through. We came down, we gave the illusion we were going to blow through the roof. We hit that 48k level almost pinpoint with a little bit of a push through, and we're now back down again. So we are, funnily enough, our last video was actually called Make or Break. And something I want to show you guys as well is what we are doing here is trying to teach you guys. I have to stress, this is not FUD. We are not trying to detriment your investments. We are not trying to scare you. We are trying to help you guys make money. And people, they will constantly disagree, but I am hoping now people are starting to take us a bit more seriously, like they should have been this entire time, because we have always had everyone's best interests at heart. And just to mention here in this prior video, if you listen, look at what we said last time. Below this floor, it is not very promising, and what we just want to be cautious of is if one big movement comes through to take out some of these highs, or at least breach within these areas, that is going to cause a major influx of more buyers into the market. So you need to understand in simple terms that the market needs liquidity to move in the opposing direction. If you push price through towards a psychological level like 50k, the moon boys will start buying again. But what is that doing? Remember, when someone's buying, that is filling the orders for someone selling. You are buying those coins of someone that's selling. So what would likely happen in a break above is all of those buyers start flooding into the market, and the people that are selling are having their orders filled. That's providing the liquidity to aid the downside movement further. Just as an example. So what we then saw in that situation was exactly that. A huge bullish drive up, and this is what I have to continuously stress to you guys. A huge bullish drive up. The purpose of that is because people, and the crypto, there is a major problem in crypto where we cannot let go of the possibility that the market is going to continue higher and higher and higher. The brutal truth is, all you are really seeing in the market right now are the same old participants manipulating prices. If we have a little look at the Onchain Metrics, the first thing you need to look at is how many liquidations. As you guys know, I do this for the members, but I'm going to show you some of the stuff I look at. If you look at April alone in terms of long futures liquidations, we're looking at 87 million on the 11th of April. We're looking at 42 million here, 47 million here, 54 million almost there. And even on the 29th, we saw almost 38 million. On the sell side, 31 and almost a half million. Over here, almost 69 million in short liquidations on the 25th of April. Now, another interesting thing to take into consideration is the number of active addresses and number of new addresses. This is slowly but surely depleting from the highs of 2020, where we saw a major influx of new capital from all of the DeFi hype, all of the NFT hype, everything going crazy. This represents it here. However, since 2021 started, ironically, the number of new addresses and activity has been massively depleting, which tells me it's the original people that got in and manipulated price that are now controlling price. And I'm sure it's not a secret by looking at the market, looking online, looking at Twitter, the hype is dying down and people are starting to lose interest in crypto. And we can clearly see at the moment from the fear and greed index, there is extreme fear now within the market. So overall, we have to understand there is not a lot of interest in this market right now. And if we go back to my pain and gain tab and look at what I track, these liquidations on these futures, it should be a clear insight why I've been warning you guys not to do anything and just stay clear of the market. Because from a monthly perspective, we're looking at pure indecision and people are trying to gamble on a directional breakout because they cannot let go of the possibility that the dream bull run is over. And like I've said many times before, you will not know that the bull market is over until it's too late. And as we can clearly see right now, falling from April 2021, of course we are currently in a bear market. Yes, there is technically a higher low, but a bull market starts from here, a breakout, that's the confirmation, and then we break through. This is not the confirmation, this is too late. You do not want to be buying during this period. This is what people don't understand. Once that initial crash comes into play, it's very likely a bear market is confirmed from that point. And although we were technically wrong when we did break the all-time highs, it did apply to the same situation. We may still go higher, that doesn't really bother me. In fact, it would be great if it does. Just ripping through the high again, coming back down, even better. The problem here is right now, is that is not looking like the case because we have had almost an entire year so far, 4 or 5 months of trying to break above this level. So clearly there is little interest in pushing price higher right now. And with the lack of new market participants, the lack of activity, this monthly candle closure is really trying to give me, well, it's really trying to give us some signs essentially that things are drying down slightly. We need to consider first of all, with extreme fear plaguing the market, I'm actually thinking we should hopefully go one more move higher. I'm not going to disregard, but the problem is this floor or this wall right here right now got shoulder, head, shoulder. I mean, even if you add a simple fib from here, and just imagine now it goes from A, B, C. Well, first of all, you've got that lovely head and shoulders there, shoulder, head, shoulder. That's a concern in itself because price has continuously attempted to break these levels and failed every single time. And all it really takes right now, and this is the concern here, I am more open to the possibility of a sudden snap to the downside because we are slowly but surely semi-mirroring history here, where we attempted the drive back up, we slammed down, drove up again, and then started collapsing. And that is looking to be the case here right now as well. We should be very, very open at the bare minimum to around that 28 to 30k region being revisited again. We can also understand that, again, this is a bit more technically FUD if you guys want to consider it, but we know what we're expecting overall. And we need to understand here, there are so many levels that have still been untapped, all the way from that 12k region, never been filled again. We have not retested these levels. And it's quite clear, when we're telling people take profits, a lot of people say, we don't have patience to wait for these plays to come through. But overall, if we look at this as an example, my portfolio value, because the majority of it is now in USD, because I've cashed out those profits, I've barely taken a dent in portfolio valuation, whilst the market's crashing like 60, 70%. And this is the goal we've been trying to say. You can take some profits and now you will have all the patience in the world. This is what people don't understand. When you take profits out the market, who cares about paying taxes on profits? I'd rather have the profits to pay taxes on than be in the situation the majority are in right now. Because taking profit gives you that freedom to sit back. And the ironic part is, the more you hodl, the longer you will actually inevitably have to wait and suffer that wait in that patience anyway, because then you're in drawdown. So it's a bit of a bullshit excuse, to be honest with you. And people say, I haven't got the patience, I can't time the market, this, that. It's not rocket science. I understand not everyone understands technical analysis, but the majority of this does come down to psychology as well. And the best way to look at the market structure is something I showed on Twitter the other day as well, is if you just map out what's really going on here, the market is just progressively attempting to go up and being met with swift reversals to the downside. This goes for this whole situation here as well. In that region, we're progressively moving lower, 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 lower. There's a possibility there may be another drive out. I would actually personally love to see the 90 cents region reverse back into, and we are at a very critical level. It's funny the last video was called make or break, because essentially we are at a make or break situation again. And if this Fibonacci maintains, now that wick's been filled, there's a nice little head and shoulders there essentially as well. So this is critical for the market because it leads to the same outcome in a nutshell as well. Whether we push through this Fibonacci and break out higher or not, the same outcome inevitably results, in my opinion. If we blow through the roof into these levels, please excuse the size of that arrow, what the hell. Even if we push up into this territory here, it leads to the same outcome coming back down. And whether we break through right now, it just simply takes us there quicker. And when we made that last video mentioning this level, so many people, again, the same thing. Congratulations on selling the generational lows. Congratulations, it's going to go to $3 next. This is why you do not listen to people and look at the charts. As an example, we've recently just found out in news that came out over the past few days that the Ripple lawsuit is likely not going to be finished until 2023. Now, what's happened to number one, the Plan B model, 100k BTC, an XRP settlement is inevitable. What has happened to all these claims and rumors? These are the same bullshit lies that are being fed in every single bull run. We've seen recently with the likes of Safemoon as a good example, something I warned you guys about at the absolute all-time highs was going to absolutely crumble. We've recently found out that a lot of the individuals behind Safemoon, whether those are the promoters or the actual founders themselves, they were selling their coins from the very top, whilst telling you guys on Twitter to hold diamond hands to the moon, we're never selling. At the same time, those bastards were selling. At the exact same time. And all of these influencers, Moonboy Carl, I don't like to point names and stuff, but they're all feeding you the same bullshit. And it almost feels like they are paid shills to trap the retail into the market and basically provide the exit liquidity for those institutions. So what we need to understand here as well is this floor. It's not the strongest floor in the world, to be honest with you, because the difference is again, if we look at historically, double top, it blows through the roof. We had an SEC case. How did we end up blowing higher? That's because these fundamentals are not driving the market. It is pure manipulation. And that's what we need to understand. When you can strip away that subconscious kind of leech, it's just stuck onto people, alt season, inevitable, settlement. No, the SEC case is now eventually and essentially being driven into 2023. And this is why I try and tell you guys, do not think that because someone said something without backing, it doesn't mean it's true. A lot of these people know, because unfortunately crypto investors seem to have the memory of a goldfish. Every single time I sell, they tell me the same thing. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. And we can see now who's actually wrong, because I could technically buy in now and have 600,000 XRP. Plus what's remaining is almost 80,000 XRP. So even if I was to reinvest at this level, which is still far too expensive in my opinion, I would then go from 200,000 XRP to almost 700,000 XRP in a very swift manner. And the only way that is achievable is by taking profits out the market. The problem here is so many people say the same thing. I'm not selling in case it goes higher. The ironic part is I sell in case it doesn't go higher. And I'm hoping this is really, and I'm a broken clock, I will always say the same things, but the message now, as we are getting to very critical levels, I'm hoping people just take it more seriously. Because why were these sales executed? Because I wasn't thinking, oh my God, there's an alt season. I was thinking, oh my God, we have reached a high. We have been progressively crashing lower. At any given at any given minute, this could end up dying. And the biggest problem here is now, as we approach this floor, the first thing I want to show you guys is this trend line. This is the bullish trend line from the bull run. Why do you think I took profit? We broke the trend line. We retested. We're now collapsing. We may come back one more time to retest. What do you think I'm going to do? Take more profit off the table. I'm trying to get rid of this remaining 79,000 XRP. I no longer want it. I'm holding a lot more elsewhere, but that can be justified because these holdings that could come into a significant leverage if we see these prices break lower. And the brutal truth is we're almost there. Even if you drag this trend line higher from wick to wick here, the same applies. We broke and retested. So whilst we're open to one more move if this head and shoulder holds, do not think this makes the floor invincible. If anything, that's another sign to get out. And one thing I continuously say here is every time the market pumps after an all-time high or yearly high is created and a massive reversal outweighs those gains, it is telling you the bull run is over. And yes, the bull run is essentially over. We are in different cycles now. Look at Ethereum. That monthly, same as BTC, we drove up, drives higher. Once you've had a confirmation down, do not always mean the market is preparing to rocket to the moon. We can't disregard that it won't. I mean, it physically could. I can't disregard that. But you want to get out of the market just in case. We look at something like the BTC dominance as well. Now, obviously, if BTC starts to fall and the dominance rockets, which I do believe will eventually return to 60% plus, that's going to have a major impact on the remainder of the market. And it's something you need to take into consideration as well, because I'm not doing anything. And one of the purposes of showing you this video as well, making this video, is to show you guys I have done sweet fuck all since, when was that? February, March, April, May. We're now almost delving into 3 months since my last sell, and I've done absolutely nothing. There's been no leverage trading. There's been no cheeky buys and sells, because it's patience. We are waiting for the market to move to certain criteria, certain levels. We're not thinking bull run. We're not thinking alt season. We're not thinking bear market. We are simply looking at the price structure and going, holy shit, we are getting very close to a critical level. If this floor is to break, it's going to be catastrophic. And we know what we're going to do when prices dip through this level, because it's very likely going to be a quick breakthrough to a certain level. I'm going to put it down there because I'm not going to show the levels I'm looking for. What could happen from there, once it hits one of these levels over here, is pull back again into these regions and then likely collapse even further down in one of those given areas, which obviously people pay for, so I can't give that out in public. However, this floor for me, now people see a support floor, and they think, oh my God, it's going to hold forever. But actually, no, because we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rejections, essentially, even some more if you factor in them. So the problem is, even if this level rejects, it's going to give people the illusion this is now that generational low. You know, we're never going to see these prices again. All those people, where the hell are they now? They are crying because they're in a lot of drawdown. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is if we break this floor, which I'm becoming increasingly scared of, we are obviously going to profit greatly from this. And I'm very likely going to get to even almost the 2 million XRP threshold now if we start breaking below the 60-50 cents floor. And once that happens, obviously you guys are going to understand what I've been saying for almost 2 years was said so on purpose to achieve a particular goal. You have to invest for a reason. You know, this here is not where you invest. You don't want to be buying here. That's insane. You want to be getting in before this happens. And people say, you know, it's easy to say blah, 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 blah. But a lot of people were present in crypto when we were at these prices. But no one wants to buy at these prices. No one whatsoever. And what it really takes is for you to zoom out. You know, a good situation, as an example. This is a bit more of an educational lesson as well, guys. Just really digging this message home, because I don't want people to be affected. And if anything, if we do break the floor, I want this to be all brought forward so you guys have this kind of in the back of your mind. Just in case we break lower, you will know how to play the next cycle. This really is make or break, and it was from the last video, but we've ended up at the same place again. So you need to understand, when price is now approaching this floor, people will buy because it's embedded in their minds, alt season's coming. I'm still seeing the same people promising a bull run from here, tweeting the same thing now. Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. No, do not buy every dip. You are being a dipstick. You need to be patient. Just wait. Here, this is a great example. When this was pumping, why did we have such a big candle going from 70 or 80 cents approximately up towards $1.3? Where did the bullish momentum go? That's because you need to zoom out and think, well, hold on a minute. Was it being an alt season starter, or was it simply going into a very precise retracement that the market had outstanding? Now look at the extension. That correlates with the low over there. Now, you guys probably don't believe it, but I do believe we'll be back here eventually. And I believe we'll be even lower. Now we've seen an extension in the SEC case again. It's even better, because now it's going to be delayed. All of those people that have been sucked into that narrative, a settlement is inevitable, blah, 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 they are going to continue holding, but they're losing faith, because people do not lose faith until the critical level is broken. $1 at first was the critical level. Everyone was watching this. Oh my God, it's going to hold. Don't sell, diamond hand. Then it broke. Now this is the new generational low, because people shift the goalpost when it's not working out. But we know very well, if this floor gives way, which bloody hell does it look like it's about to give way? You know, there is very little down below here. I've said this before. Empty space, basically, where the market has not returned back to. And that's like 20 to 50 cents. Now, it's all about looking at your perspective. Dollar cost averaging. Most people buy here, buy here, buy. And when you zoom in and look at it this way, and you're not looking zoomed out weekly or monthly chart, you're watching this breakout and you're thinking, holy shit, this is the moment of truth, because you're just being manipulated by this bullish candles. But all you need to do is zoom out and just understand in a very, very simple nutshell, this Fibonacci is in play and it's currently working out. This is most definitely an area of interest. Will it happen in one go? I doubt it. But what would be ideal, and I think I've said this in a video before, when we're thinking about the Ripple settlement, SEC losing, all of those dreams they're selling you, we don't know the outcome. We don't care about the outcome. We are looking at the price structure because it will tell you exactly what's going to happen. Now, considering when the SEC case was announced, we pumped up beforehand. You guys know we sold beforehand and then we bought again on the crash. 100,000, and we sold out pretty much the same amount. Now this is why it was worthy of me selling, because number one, an unexpected pump out of nowhere doesn't mean the bull run started. And then when the SEC case came in, considering how drastic it was meant to be for price, why did we not go to zero? That's because these are premeditated events to justify price manipulation. So what people are obviously thinking in the back of their heads is, I'm never going to sell my XRP because a settlement could be initiated at any given moment. We do not know the outcome, so do not base your investments on a theoretical scenario, because if that's what you're doing, you should not be investing. You are here to make money. And one thing I've said before as well is not just that you will not realize until it's too late, but it's not just about realizing, it's that the realization and reality kicks in that yet again, due to our own greed and naivety, believing other people and not going with our heart and not realizing how much was actually presented in gains during these movements, we've instead allowed greed to consume us into never selling. And this is the agenda. If you've read my new book, which is free for everyone, by the way, I hope you guys registered, you will start to understand every single thing that is actually happening in crypto. There is an agenda out there to get you guys hodling. Do you think the big players are hodling? No, they're not. No, they are not, because the on-chain metrics we look at on a continuous basis are telling us the exact opposite. These big players are not holding. We found out MicroStrategy have been selling in secret. Michael Saylor, when did he buy again? Was it 59,000? So why is this crashing? That's because Michael Saylor was buying at these prices to purposely, number one, get more retail sucked in, and number two, because he very likely knew price was going to crash. Why would someone like MicroStrategy buy at 59k? Either because they're stupid or because they want to create losses to offset their taxes. That's exactly what Michael Saylor was doing, in my opinion. So we need to be quite careful right now, because as you can see here on BTC as well, we have been driving up progressively, but all we've really done, you need to be looking at levels of resistance and support. And the problem here is, within this kind of overall range that's going on here now, there is obviously the head and shoulders possibility again. I always leave that open just in case it happens. That'll be fantastic. But if this is to come through, all I'm going to really say is, guys, this is where you need to consider taking profits. If such a situation is to happen, which doesn't look likely right now, you want to be getting the hell out or taking something out, because then this would lead to one hell of a potential sell-off. Even if this ripped through to, let's say, 80, 90 or 100k, and let's say the dream came true, what do you think would happen from there onwards? Do you think it's going to go up forever, or do you think it's going to crash? The goal here is not to be pinpoint perfect, and despite the fact we have been relatively perfect with these plays, the goal here is to show you guys, and I knew this would happen, it's a continuous process I have to battle with every single cycle. It's trying to convince people in the height of this euphoria that it's time to get out of the market. You have to realize, if you're scared to sell because price may go higher, you should be scared to not sell in case price goes lower. We shouldn't be so fixated on the upside that we forget the possible downside. There is no set and forget strategy here. There is no, hodl for life or diamond hands, because diamond hands always get slaughtered in the long run. They're basically designating you into doing and making those decisions because they know you're providing the liquidity that these institutions need. And there's a lot of things going on in the world right now, let's be completely honest. At any given moment, some form of fundamental event could snap this down. I know what people are going to say, oh my god, you've been predicting this the whole time, even a broken clock's right twice a day, but I've got the results here to prove it. And in a brutally honest way, find me someone else that has done this. And that's why I'm very confident in what I say, because you're watching this unfold in real time, and it takes a long time for this stuff to unfold, and they will call you crazy, they won't believe you, but I can guarantee you anyone that hasn't listened now is definitely regretting it. Yes, the market is in extreme fear, so ideally we do see one more push higher. At the brink of this fear here, hopefully we get one more drive up, but you can rest assured the remainder of this 79,000 will be gone in that situation, because then I can bump this up to almost 400k, and I'm sure you know what's going to happen if that floor breaks. The goal is to get to 1 million XRP on this journey publicly to show you what's possible, but ideally I'm going to try and flip this to 5 to 10 million XRP, and that will be very, very easy and realistic once we hopefully break through the 60 cents floor. But something that I should also leave open as kind of a main lesson of this video, try not to get involved in the market right now, whether you're new or whether you are experienced and been here for a while. There are levels that you buy at and there are levels that you sell at. There's one thing you guys should be watching here. You have everything you need educationally from what I've been providing you guys publicly month after month after month. You need to almost screenshot this, look at this, and understand why I am doing what I'm doing here. Why have I sold here? Why have I bought here? Why have I sold here? Why have I sold here? And over here, the market's progressively moving lower. we should not be letting our emotions, and yes, you need a bit of that testicular fortitude to kind of press that sell button, but if we can blindly press the sell button, there's no reason why you shouldn't blindly be pressing the sell button then. Did I say sell or buy? Either way, if you're blindly pressing buy, you need to learn to start pressing sell, because support does not hold forever, and the more rejections we see from this level, the more people will be fooled into believing it's going to hold forever. And I'm sure you guys have seen historically, even over an extended period of support, what happens eventually. If we break, we're likely going to retest and then crash back down. And I do personally think XRP will eventually be below 10 cents. I'm not going to say the exact price, but overall, I think with all of the capital, all of the greed, all of that emotion that's been brought back into the market, we're already 73% down, pretty much from where we were at the highs as well. So let me show you that. Price range from top to bottom, we've hit around 74% pretty much since that yearly high. Now you tell me if that's not a bear market. Is falling 74% from a high not bearish? Is that still part of the bull run? You tell me. But people are deluded in this market, and I'm here to try and just provide some form of logic in a field of absolute shambolic behavior. And these people do not care about you. I always say this. Look at the signs, guys. Higher, higher, no more. No, that's not higher, is it? It's high, low, 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 low. But people see this and think, oh, it's higher, it's going to go, it's going to go. No, look overall. The major pump and dump has occurred. We're now progressively moving lower. Yes, this floor may provide some upside movements, but what I'm trying to say is instead of trying to prove me wrong or use any form of upside movement to go against me, instead look at what I'm trying to teach you. Understand I'm doing this with the best intentions possible, because if you actually go back and look at all of our videos, and I can say this very confidently again as well, look back at our videos and understand that if you had followed everything we had done step by step, you would have far outperformed almost 99% of people in this market. It's courageous, it's bold to do this stuff, but actually no, it's not. It's common sense. The same, in fact, we could even use Netflix as an example here as well, as a very, very good example of what happens in the market. Now, first of all, let's go to the monthly. Something like Netflix, we're actually mapping out this level with the members, $200. But look at the run, 3 consecutive bullish candles. Is it a coincidence the market absolutely pumped and pushed through one more time before it died down to 200 a share? Is that a coincidence the market suspiciously broke the highs? No, it's almost the same as BTC at 60k. It gives the illusion it's going to hold, it blows through. Someone and something or some people orchestrated this before the sell-off was coming through. This is premeditation at its finest on Netflix. And we can see that over here. Blasted through, took out the highs, gave everyone hope, then collapsed. That for me is a very scary sign in itself. We have the monthly closure in 8 days, we have the weekly closure in 8 days. So the main purpose here is to tell you guys, number one, if we start breaking higher, whether that's 44, whether that's 50, or whether that's even 60 or more, there should be nothing else on your mind right now in a completely simplistic way. If we get another pump higher, you take out some profits and scale out. If you have not done that and it breaks lower, you do not want to be in that metric of people or demographic of people that will sell as it gets to a critical level, because it's only when reality really kicks in. If this floor breaks on XRP, reality suddenly kicks in that another cycle has been wasted holding absolutely everything. So what you need to do if you're in a loss especially is if we get a pump higher, utilize that loss and that pump, to take a bit of that loss out. Cut your losses short, only 20-30% if necessary, and leave a bit of capital just in case. If the market starts going higher and you've bought over here as an example, then you're very fortunate. But unfortunately right now I'm not too sure if we are going to see much more movement from here. And again, this was taken out just in case I was wrong. As an example with the members, I mean, just in case we didn't go higher. So we caught these perfect sells here. This was just $4, but obviously these ones were much bigger in size. Now, when we returned back to this level, I didn't sell again because I've already sold here and I've sold here. However, what I would be doing next is only selling really if we see a significant break higher. The problem here is now we've returned down to this level. This could snap at any given moment because we know the market does the opposite of what the majority want. So I'm very, very open to the possibility we are going to start breaking lower. And the only concern there is, as we've seen historically, look at the signs, guys. Yes, there's a bit of open room at $1 or so, but look over here. Crash down, as we've seen before, pushed up, failed to break, closed back down below. What happens from there? Pulled up, retested, broke down, shattered the floor, because people think every floor is secure. What will happen if we break down here? People are going to tell you to buy at 50, 40, 30, wherever it goes, until eventually you have maybe scaled into the bottom. But the brutal truth is you do not want to be dollar cost averaging higher, you want to be dollar cost averaging lower. And another expression of this video that now proves itself is you do not need to do anything. It takes weeks, months sometimes for the best prices to come through. But in a market like this, which is erratic, has no logic, is purely manipulative, and not yet driven by fundamentals or utility, as you've seen, there's a lot of progression happening in the market. And if you read my book, you will see where we're progressing towards. But despite the frequent partnerships that are happening, ODL support growing, utility growing, the market is not reflecting that, and the market will always do what the market wants to do because it is significantly manipulated. And this is all one big ploy for these institutional capitals and all of these little institutional entities and all of these whales that are getting involved. This is just a simple ploy to leverage an unregulated market in its present stage to make as much money as possible, whilst leaving everyone else trapped in at the top holding heavy bags. We are not here to hold heavy bags. We are here to accumulate our bags as much as possible before the true bull run starts. And that bull run may reflect something like the S&P 500 over time. We are not here for this movement 24/7. We are here to leverage this situation whilst it lasts, because this will not last forever. Instead, what we want to do is try and amass, when people say hodl, diamond hands, generational wealth, this is exactly how you obtain generational wealth, by amassing as much holdings as possible with profits. We're flipping profits here. We're not dipping a penny into our own pocket anymore. And to be honest with you, you have to look at it this way. Let's say right now, XRP blew through the moon, and I'm only holding 79,000 left in this portfolio. Let's say it goes to $3, $4, $5, or 10. Am I going to complain? Am I going to cry that it wasn't enough money? No. I'm going to be happy because a profit has been generated. And later down the line, that profit can be used on new coins. It could be invested into a property, a car, stocks, whatever it may be. The goal here is to leave the market with a profit. And please, guys, just do not take this as FUD. Try not to disregard or prove me wrong, because I'm not here to prove myself right or wrong. It's people force me to then be like, I told you so. I don't really want to be that guy. I'm just here to tell you to be sensible. I'm here to make you guys successful. And a lot of our members, if this now breaks 60, 50 cents, a lot of my members are going to be touching 7 figures plus. And that's purely from just being very, very sensible and following this play in a very certain way. So we need to understand the risk right now, considering how low we are, especially, we are at the brink of a potential market collapse. It's not a bad sign, doesn't mean we're dead. If anything, the new cycle will commence from there onwards. But with an extension in the SEC case as an example for XRP as well, it's definitely dropping a lot more than some of the others. I mean, if we go back to not FE, but F, go back to Bitfinex as an example, or what chart was I using just there? Was it Bitstamp? God knows what chart I was using. Either way, it's all the same stuff. But as an example, look at what's really going on here. Broken through, just coming into retest. And this could easily just pull up one more time now, especially with such a bearish confirmation, and lead back to a bigger drop. Very similar to over here. See how it broke through, retested once, came up, and continued the journey down. We are not seeing the hype anymore. We are not seeing the euphoria. NFT volumes are dropping as well, as another example. There are a lot of signs here that things are about to take a turn for the worst. So you don't really want to be considering buying just yet. People say DCA now, generational lows, never sell it. No, fuck them. What you want to be thinking is, I am not starting my DCA journey until better prices come through. And you need to understand what the majority are doing. You do the opposite of. The majority right now will be looking at this floor and thinking buy. And what will happen is, if it does end up rejecting ever so slightly, whether that's to 80, $1, or wherever that may be, all it's doing is making them buy. And then when we get a reaction, they continue holding. Whereas when we saw this floor rejected, or even over here, people said, you've missed out. No, I didn't, because I sold. And then it sold again, and then sold again. every single pump higher doesn't mean you buy. 60 cents in comparison to where we are, yes, it is quite a cheap price. However, there's cheaper prices that are possible located below 60 cents. So yes, you can dollar cost average from now and work your way down if you don't mind holding. That could be 10 cents, 5 cents, 1 cent, who knows. But wouldn't you rather wait for it to push down into, let's say, like 20 or 30 cents, where you know we've been looking at 20 cents for a while, and then scale your way down from them prices? Wouldn't that make so much more sense? Of course it would. But people do not have the patience, and people do not agree or believe in such situations occurring. Look at the market, guys. Big pump, it was a trap. This was a big collapse. The rejection was a trap. The second rejection was a trap. The third rejection was a trap. Now we're breaking lower. You need to look back and just think, I could have sold number one within this entire move here. You could have sold during this move here. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 opportunities in a week. 8 weeks of opportunities to sell at $1.4. We then look again. $1. That was an opportunity. Another pump. Another opportunity. Stop looking at pumps as a means to a bull run or alt season, and start looking at pumps as an opportunity to get out the market, because again, stop having the goldfish memory. I don't know why crypto participants seem to forget what history shows, but we can see here, it pumped, it went lower, huge pump again, went down lower, pumped again, down, pump, down, pump, down, finally breaks through. Once we've wiped out the floor that everyone believes is invincible, that's when the bull run is truly ready to commence, once we have wiped out all of those market participants. And although this didn't breach all-time highs, the amount of capital and FOMO that's been driven in, it's almost inevitable at this point that so many people are going to get wiped out. So take this all into consideration. Please do not be offended if I'm being quite honest here, but I'm really hoping you can see now. I've tried my absolute best to help people in this cycle, and I hope for everyone's sake this floor does hold, but personally, I want it to break at this point, because whether it holds or goes higher, I think the same outcome's coming forward. And go and take a look at all those people that told you to buy every single dip, all of these pumps, and just take a moment to look at what their new content's saying. What are the thumbnails showing? What are the captions and clickbait showing? Is it starting to make sense now that all of these people have been lying to you because they're clueless? I'm hoping it is. And this is time for a wake-up call. If you guys have, for whatever reason, in a market that's achieved over 1,000% ROI in the space of a year, if you've ended that in a loss, you need to hold your mentors accountable, you need to hold the influencers accountable, but you also need to hold yourself accountable. And this is now an opportunity, because rest assured, the reason I'm so vigorous with this stuff is because I got fucked in 2017, to be honest with you, where I could have taken so much more money out of the market, but I didn't, because I myself wanted $5. I wanted that little bit more, and that greed cost me a significant amount of money, which is why I'm so strict on this stuff now. There's two types of people in crypto. The people that never learn their lesson and continue repeating the same mistakes, they will fall into the 90% plus that fail. Then there's the other people that learn their lessons and their mistakes and their failures, and they bring that into the next cycle. So if you are in a drawdown for whatever reason, and you are in a loss for whatever reason, do not dwell on it, but use this information in preparation for just in case we see that worst case scenario. You can take this knowledge, you can take your losses, you can take your drawdown, and these are lessons to put you better off in the next cycle. So I'm going to make some videos more frequently, even if it's educational. Doesn't have to just be a market outlook, because again, people pay for this information, and my calls, I can't give this stuff out for free, unfortunately, but I can give you guys more of a psychological approach, different lessons, education, maybe some YouTube shorts and stuff as well. Make sure you check out the Instagram, because I'm going to start doing a lot more educational content on there. Because to be honest with you, I went onto crypto Twitter again the other day, which is obviously the Twitter I'm on, and it pissed me off seeing what so many people were calling for, what so many people were saying, just absolute lies being fed to the masses, and it's causing a wave of people that are borderline on the brink of suicide. And I'm not tolerating that, I'm not allowing that, and I'm going to do everything in my power to help, even if it's only 1% of the people. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are prepared for more content, and also not just leave your feedback, but let me know what kind of areas you're struggling with in particular. Please leave that in the comments, whether it's a certain technical aspect, whatever it may be, because I can then take your kind of problems and turn those into lessons from my own experience, where fortunately I've pretty much experienced every form of pain or success that the crypto market brings. So if there's anything you guys are struggling with in particular as well, just drop us a comment. I'll make sure a video is added to the list of future content that will be made, and almost like a Q&A style where I can answer the questions you guys have asked, and from there we can turn it into an educational lesson. So I hope that makes sense, but more importantly, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'm already looking forward to the next video.